All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the MLB, at least for now. We do have our MLB Futures Plays video to go live here on the Guy Boston Sports channel. As of right now, I'm already rolling with 7 plays. 4 team totals and 3 World Series plays. Yes, only one team can win the World Series, but if it's any one of these 3, we end up profiting even with the losses of the other ones, right? So hopeful for that, but we're going to go through those 7 plays. We may be adding some more future plays. We still have, over more than a month away from the MLB season as of right now, so we still have, 4+ weeks to potentially find some. So keep an eye down on the pinned comment. If we do add anything, obviously we'll add it into that post and we can track it throughout the season. So keep an eye down on the pinned comment. But man, I'm very excited the MLB is back, at least back on the channel, and we're close to the season. Let's go ahead and dive into this. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3, 4 more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. All right, so last season right here, you can see we go 501 and 377 for an over 57% hit rate. As someone that considers himself average at this stuff, I'm pretty damn excited about that. Hoping to bring some of that momentum into this season, but we make 45.78 units. The first year that we did this on the channel, we had a 53.3% hit rate and just over 26 units of profit. So I'm very, very motivated to go ahead and try and do that 3 years in a row. And it all starts here with the futures plays. So like I mentioned, we have 4 team totals to dive into here, all overs. And we also have 3 World Series plays. I think we'll start it off with the team totals. We're still kind of looking for some players and season-long player props to look at. Nothing's really risen to the top and jumped out to me yet, but like I said, you can always check the pinned comment, take you to the final place to see if we've added anything. Not sure if we will or won't, just being completely honest. But let's dive into these team totals, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. The first team that we're looking at here, we'll get the bias one out of the way. I like the Red Sox. The minute they locked down Bregman, I was already kind of teetering on that line after the crochet move, but I needed something more, right? Something else that they add, a bat, and specifically a righty bat, and boom, Alex Bregman, 3-year deal inked there. So I like them over 86.5 right now for their team total. Last year, with their ups and downs, lack thereof of arms, lack thereof of, honestly, righty bats, bunch of injuries, they still won 81 games, going 81 and 81 last year. So yeah, I like them to go out there and get 87 wins at least. That Garrett Crochet is an amazing, amazing move. One of the best moves of the entire offseason. Definitely one of the best trades, right? But overall moves. And then Bregman, there's multiple teams that were seeking after him, and the Red Sox got him. So I think that based on those 2 moves alone, we could see a little bit of an elevation in this season from the Sox. Now, I already said I'm biased, right? I didn't really like this until the Bregman play like I'm signing, like I mentioned, right? Though that bumps the team total up and we're there late to the fact, I wasn't necessarily comfortable just saying, okay, you add Garrett Crochet, an amazing ace pitcher who's young in this league. That wasn't enough. So I do think Bregman has a huge part of this, and both of those guys need to stay healthy for this, in my brain, to have a good shot of hitting. But even some of the young guys on this squad that should get better, that's almost like, I don't want to be too biased here, but that's almost like signing a big free agent, right? When you have a guy that was good last year, a young guy that just gets better the next year, you get better and better. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I will say this is one of the tougher divisions in baseball. Taking a team total over in a division like this could get a little dicey, and I'll be honest, we have another team in this division for our team total plays here. So yeah, maybe that's a dumb move, but nonetheless, I'm rambling at this point. I like the Red Sox over 86.5 wins for their team total this season. Next, we might as well dive into the other team in this division. I feel like we're getting a good number here. I like the Blue Jays. Right now, the line is at 78.5, -110 over on MGM. I like this spot. Yes, they do end up, kind of middling for the most part, right? But boom, Anthony Santander, getting Max Scherzer. If he's healthy, that's an amazing add to this starting rotation that loses a couple guys, right? So I think that the additions of them alone could be really, really impactful, that they didn't lose too much, right? So adding them is more like total plus a net gain for two big names like that. So I do think that this is going to be a good spot for one Santander to thrive. And then also if Max Scherzer is healthy, which obviously has been a big if recently, I think that that's going to be a massive move to their starting rotation, which right now, from the looks out of it, looks like it's going to be Gausman, who hopefully he can be back to what he was 2 years ago. Max Scherzer, you have Bowden Francis, who has had some good games, Jose Barrios, and Chris Bassett. That don't sound too terrible to me. You know what I mean? Now, on the offensive side of things, I'm kind of hoping, and I wouldn't say kind of, I'm damn sure hoping that this situation with Vladdy Guerrero Jr. gets sorted out. We're recording this, like I said, over a month out from the start of the MLB season. I'm hoping by the time that comes around, they've nailed down his contract extension, because it's just been kind of a you-know-what show as of late. Like, he's posting kind of subtle jabs and passive-aggressive things on his Instagram. The team has said, we want to work it out, just haven't found how to yet. And it's like, well, they're going out there making some moves. I thought that this should have been one that they kind of cemented and got in stone early, but still kind of in limbo with that one. So obviously I hope that that's sorted out and figured out by the time the season rolls around for our futures play here. But I'm not ignoring that. I'm just kind of taking a shot at it, hoping for the best with that situation, because I do certainly think that is going to be something that impacts their season drastically. So fingers crossed on the Vladdy front, but I love the idea of their starting pitching looking pretty good, as well as that ad of Anthony Santander. Now we move on to the National League side of things. So we have two AL teams and two NL teams. The first NL team we're looking at is probably the team that I'm biggest on this year, and I mean, I don't think a lot of people, it's not going to shock a lot of people because this team is very good. They've shown that they're very good, but they did lose some pieces in the offseason, right? So I'm looking at the Diamondbacks. Their team total right now is 84.5. I think that this is a great number. I mean, last year, even with their hot streaks and cold streaks and sort of some issues along the way, being in one of, if not the best division in baseball, they ended up going 89-73. If they just maintain what they did last year, we're looking at a cash year, right? Again, we only need 85 wins from them. Now, if we want to say, okay, well, they lose Christian Walker, they lose Jock Peterson, I can't really sit here and deny that. Like, those are obviously two big pieces of their lineup just a year ago, and who had been a big piece of their lineup, for, especially Christian Walker kind of coming into his own there. But adding Corbin Burns may be the signing of the offseason for them. And then going and getting Josh Naylor to hopefully mitigate, if not gain, on some of that offensive loss, I really do like there. So yeah, those two names alone, Corbin Burns and Josh Naylor, I think are going to be absolutely massive. I mean, you have a starting lineup now that comes down to, Corbin Burns being your ace, Zach Gallen, who, yeah, sure, he had an up and down year. I think, a 1.2 whip last season, over 3.5 ERA, but we know that dude is still very, very good. Hopefully he has a little bit of a progression type of a season. We have Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen. Are you kidding me? Around the lineup now, you still have Ketel Marte. Now you have Josh Naylor. Suarez, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Corbin Carroll. Plenty of guys. I'm sure I'm missing a few of the guys on the list as well, right? But I like this offense. I like the pitching. Hopefully the bullpen can kind of stay intact and look good there, as well as the closing situation, right? But overall, Diamondbacks over 84.5. We talk about them a little bit later in the video as well. Hint, hint. Nod, nod, a little bit of a tease there. But I really do like the Diamondbacks this season. I just hope we're not too late to it, right? Like the Diamondbacks last couple of years shooting up, was last year sort of like when they start coming down? I don't think so. I hope that's not the case. The last team total we have here, and quite honestly, this is the only one that comes down to an offseason move that isn't on the field. It actually comes in the dugout. It's because of the manager of this team now. Terry Francona, now the manager of the Reds, for a very, very young team with a lot of budding potential, and honestly guys that have already sprouted as studs in this league. Terry Francona managing that just screams over 78.5 wins for this Cincinnati team. Now, last season, they 77 wins, right? And they were a team that, I don't have the numbers to support this, they were a team that would just blow games. Like, they'd be looking good, they'd be crushing it, boom, they'd blow games. I don't think that situationally, let's see if I can say this word, ready? 3, 2, 1. Situationally is going to happen as much with Francona in the dugout there. Again, am I putting too much weight into a manager? Quite possibly, but Terry Francona is one of the best out there, and a young team with a lot of potential has him now in there. And a team that has just gotten slightly better with a splash in terms of a new manager, only needing a couple more wins than they got last season to go ahead and cash this one. So yeah, that's Reds over 78.5 for their team total, highlighted by, yeah, it's kind of weird, but highlighted by bringing in Terry Francona. All right, let's move on to the World Series teams. Now, these are obviously only one of these can hit in the first place, but we kind of have them tiered out. We have our mainstream type of play, and neither one of them, any of these, are the Dodgers, which are the odds-on favorites right now. How can you deny that, right? They're filthy from top to bottom. The next team that I would say is, I guess in my opinion, should be that chalk type of a team, which I do think that it's close to the Dodgers, but just via in terms of like the ads and whatnot, but just based on what we're seeing in terms of what they've added, but the odds, I feel like the most value is here, is the Yankees. And yes, the Yankees are going to be one of our World Series teams, a team that came up just shy last year, but right now they're in like anywhere from the 2 to 4 spot, depending on what you're looking at. Realistically, the big three right now are the Dodgers, Braves, and Yanks, right? But I think the Yankees, out of the odds we're getting, plus 800 right now, by the way. The fact that we're getting plus 800 for a team that made some big moves. Max Fried into the starting lineup, right? Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, Fernando Cruz now to beef up their bullpen. Like, they made a lot of nice plays and signings / trades to go out there and get these guys to replace some of the losses that they had. Juan Soto being the biggest of names, right? But Bellinger, I think, is going to have a phenomenal season. He's someone that I want to look into in terms of player props for the season long, which we just haven't yet. But I think that him in a Yankee stadium for half of his games could be damn near dynamite, right? So I think that's going to be a big move. But yeah, Juan Soto, Torres, Clay Holmes, Nestor Cortez. Am I missing any bigger names? I mean, they lost a few other guys. I do think to some degree can be mitigated by bringing in someone like Max Fried or Cody Bellinger. Obviously, none of these guys are Juan Soto. That's a massive get for the Mets. But to me, I still think this Yankees team is going to be right there when it comes down to it. And if we're getting plus 800, I kind of like that. It's not the plus, 250 that we're seeing for the Dodgers. Even the Braves are around plus 700. Like, to me, the value at the top of that list is going to be the Yanks. Moving on to the next team, and it's obviously a weird one because I just kind of downplayed how Juan Soto left, right? But I do like what the Mets have done. I downplayed for the Yankees, and you can't deny that's a massive, massive get, right? They also re-signed Pete Alonso. I know some people are going to have some, I guess, opinions about that, but this is all going to come down to, at least in my opinion, how well that pitching staff either stays together and or the bullpen kind of stepping up and being great, because this lineup should be pretty good. Obviously highlighted by now Juan Soto and, this guy named Francisco Lindor. When healthy, you're going to have a very good lineup. Pete Alonso, people have their feelings about him, right? Love him, hate him. Clutched up in the playoffs last season. And honestly, now that we have someone like Juan Soto, you might rely a little bit even less on Alonso for him to come out there and just kind of have those spark plays or big home runs if and when Mets need it. Could be pretty good. A little bit of pressure off of him now. But overall, I think that this could be a good spot. The odds we're getting this Mets team at right now, plus 1,200. I also kind of kicked the idea around of, on MGM, on BetMGM, there was a prop for the state to win the World Series, and it could have been, New York, California, whatever it is. I thought about that, but just seeing it at plus 400, I don't know. It didn't make all them. I didn't think we had much of a gain here, especially with one other team in here. Now, we could talk about that other team here. We already mentioned them, not to spoil it, but the Diamondbacks at plus 3,000. Are you kidding me? I hope I'm not late to this Diamondbacks party because, one, if we recall last season, we made absolute bread on Diamondbacks team total over, right? We loved the lineup. They lose some guys. I think they, like I already mentioned, kind of made a case for them. They bring in Josh Naylor, who's one of my probably favorite hitters in the MLB as well. Adding Corbin Burns, I think that this team has a shot to at least take a chance at plus 3,000. You know what I mean? Like, those are the three teams as of right now. I will say I don't envision making any more World Series plays. If we do add anything in the pinned comments and whatnot, it's probably either going to be another team total or some player props that I'm liking as well. So make sure to keep an eye on that, but I already made my case for the Diamondbacks, right? Overall, I think this team's very, very good as long as, Zach Gallen kind of returns to being an absolute beast that he was a couple of years ago. I want the late innings to be kind of surefire there, but I think that lineup's very good, and I do think that making two good splashes with Naylor, with Corbin Burns is going to take this team a long way. A team that seems like they're just on the brink, right? Now, I didn't mention it earlier when I talked about the team total, but I can give a little bit of credence to, well, they're playing in the Dodgers division, right? Like, that's obviously going to be tough. So I don't think they'll win that division, but again, we're getting plus 3,000 odds. It's worth it, right? This team has been there before. Let's go and just do that again. I mean, the Dodgers kind of throw a wrench into it, but we have to put them in a vacuum. We can't just be like, oh, because the Dodgers did that, the Diamondbacks aren't worth taking a peek at. Plus 3,000, I'm taking a damn peek. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show and for the future show. Hey guys, real quick, we're adding this in after the fact. I already kind of mentioned it in the video, but wanted to put it in there so it's official. Cody Bellinger, over 20.5 home runs is going to be something we're rolling with this season. Right now, that's minus 113 over on FD. 20.5, I think, is a very doable number. So he only hit 18 last year in arguably a sort of underwhelming season, right? The year before that, he went for 26. The year before that, 19, 10, 12, 47, 23, 39. He's got a mixed bag of home run years, right? But in Yankee Stadium this year, I already mentioned, I think that he's going to fit that like a glove. He'll have a few more that fly out. And even speaking of that, by the numbers, with his expected home runs by park, obviously 18 with the Cubs, he's expected to have 24 home runs last year based on the same balls that he hit. 24 home runs. So we're even a few ahead of this line. So yeah, Cody Bellinger over 20.5 home runs is going to be something that we're rolling with. Again, keep an eye on the Guy Boston Sports post, which is found in the pinned comment for any ads, but wanted to throw this one in there now that we knew we had it before, while we're editing, I guess. I'm very excited for MLB to be back. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment 16 if you made it this far into the video, and let me know in the comments down below. Very, very important. Like, I'm very interested in this. What futures are you guys rolling with? What do you think of the ones that I threw out there, but what else are you guys rolling with? It could be a player, it could be a team, to make the playoffs bet, that type of thing. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys are rolling with, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next MLB video. Peace out.